Hey there guys, welcome back to Mana Down Under. So, Commander videos, I'm going to start doing deck techs I think, more than deck ideas. Just trying to change, we'll see how it goes. So we're going to look at Ayula, the Queen Among Bears. Now, I know a lot of people saw this commander, we're very excited because of the flavour of 2/2, the typical bear theme, and she brings a lot of power to the table actually. It's a very competitive commander. So Ayula is a 2-mana 2/2 bear with when another bear enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Put 2 counters on target bear. Or, target bear you control fights target creature you do not control. Now, the fact that she's only a 2-mana commander that brings such offensive abilities to the board makes the deck very aggressive and very quick to the ground. So let's go to it. So any good bear deck is going to need bears. Your commander cares about plenty of bears. But this deck runs any bear we can fit, and there's not that many in Magic. We nearly run all of the bears. A lot of them are vanilla. They do nothing, but that's fine because your commander brings such value to them. So grizzly bear, bear cub, golden bear, and forest bear. You can't get any simpler than that. The portal sets did pretty well for us here. Runeclaw Bear and Alpine Grizzly are the last of the vanilla bears. You get things like Ashcoat, which is a 2/2 for 2 with flash, which with our commander out can be quite scary for your opponent because you can flash the bear in out of nowhere. You can buff up a bear giving it 2 counters, you can fight something mid-attack and block, you can do a bit of cheeky combat shenanigans. Ulvenwald Bear can be a massive beater for 3 mana, potentially a 4/4. Then your commander's effect, make it a 6/6 for 3 mana. You can do alright with it. I love Pale Bear and River Bear. The fact that they have Island Walk. Mono Green doesn't do well against black and blue, so to have any effects that can kind of hate on them, we'll take them. Druid's Familiar can give another bear +2/+2. I love the theme of it. Mother Bear, a little bit sad, but when it dies, we can exile it from our graveyard to make 2 more bear tokens. Those 2 tokens entering, you could cause your commander to have 2 more triggers, so you can have 4 counters on the board, 2 more instances of fighting. It brings a lot of value. Goreclaw, Terror of Qualisisma. We used to do a commander deck idea on this guy way back in the day. Pretty cool bear, big old beater, buffs our bears that are already kind of big and strong in the commander, giving them 2 counters, most of them 2/2s. They meet that power 4 requirement pretty easy. Good tine and flavour there. Vivian's Grizzly just lets us dig through our deck a little bit. Again, mono green, we don't have much draw manipulation, so if we can find it, we'll take it, but we still need it to be in the bear slot. Striped Bear is our Elvish Visionary of the deck. If we draw a card and it's on a bear, we'll take it. Werebear is a mana dork in the bear slot, so we'll take what we can get. That threshold mechanic can make it pretty beefy later on, and because the bears are pretty average, we can look to the changelings for bear support as well. Woodland Changeling is literally a bear by the definition. It's a 2-mana 2/2 bear. That's all we care about. The new Web Weaver is essentially a 5-mana 3/5 bear with a reach, and it could gain us some life if the graveyard's got a bit in it. Good old Chameleon Colossus. How many people have this card killed? So it's a 4-mana 4/4 pro black. Again, we'll take that color hate if we can take it, and you can pay 4 to double its power and toughness. It's a bear. Again, our commander cares about that, and you can get so big, you can punch right through pretty easy. Changeling Titan's a pretty interesting one. So you have to champion a creature. So when this creature enters, you've got to exile another creature underneath it, essentially. But when the champion version dies, the normal one returns. If it's a bear, your commander gets an instant trigger. So this one card gets your trigger on its entry, and when it leaves, it returns the other bear, and you get another trigger. So it's 2 forms of 1 card, really. Plus, it's a 7/7 bear when it enters your battlefield. A 7/7 fighting probably wins most fights. Now, the rest of these aren't necessarily bears, but they provide bears in some way or support the bears. Caller of the Claw can bring in bear tokens for each non-token that's been to a graveyard this turn. So if we do a lot of fighting, a lot of damage, we can flash in and bring a huge army in and then buff up more damage, more fighting. Bramble Sovereign lets us clone in our deck, really. Mono green, you don't get to do that too often. So she can pay 2 mana whenever a non-token is the battlefield, we create a copy of it. Again, double effects from your commander. Foe Regent is a dragon, but he likes bears, he likes fighting bears. So it pretty much says if a creature wins its fight or survives the end of the turn, it gains 2 counters on it, which is kind of what your commander does. Funny that. This is great because if your commander lets the creature fight one of your bears, it wins the fight, it survives the fight, it grows stronger, it learns from that fight. Primal Force Mage, a card which I've tried to dabble in Modern before, but it works really well in this deck. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, that creature gets +3/+3 in a turn. So enters the battlefield, the Force Mage buffs the bear by +3/+3, your commander lets it fight, That's a big bear coming over the board. Mimic and Adaptive Automaton are pretty much Lord-like buffs in this deck. There are a couple of other buffs you could fit in the deck, but these guys can become bears, which we do care about the creature type. Woodland Bellower, I'm kind of sad it's never been errated to be a bear, or even close. Like, it looks like a bear, but it's here because it can bring in a bear onto the battlefield. So it's a big beater on its own, which is fine, but it can bring in another bear by its tutoring mechanic. Team of Sabertooth, the $2 uncommon that could from Fate Reforged. It can be used in several ways. It can be used to save bears from combat, board wipes, or we can use it to keep resetting bears, because you can pay the 2 mana, bounce it back to your hand, and recast it. Bears are pretty cheap, so it's not the big thing in the world. Vigor, oh Vigor, what a dumb card this one is. If damage would be dealt to another creature you control, prevent that damage and put a 1/1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented this way. If Vigor is put into your graveyard from anywhere, shuffle into the library. So, your commander makes creatures fight. Vigor makes them grow stronger during that fight. Very scary, really cool, love it. Llanowar Elf here is just a mana dork, we'll fit him in, we need it. Beast Whisperer lets us draw, because we are casting all these cheap bears, very vanilla. We need any draw we can get, mono green does struggle. And I've put Bolduvian Bear here at the end because I forgot to put it into the vanilla slot, my bad. But it's a 2 mana 2/2, typical bear. Now, moving on to support. We've got these very vanilla creatures that work 101 with our commander, but we can make it better. Panharmonicon. Said it right, thank god. I hate that card. Any creature enters the battlefield, causing a enter the battlefield effect, double it up really. With a commander, this is a huge bomb. So Helm of the Host. I keep saying every deck this card goes into, it breaks it. It makes copies of any equipped creature, even the tokens are non-legendary, so you can put onto your commander. So with your commander, it can go 2 ways. You create more copies of Ayula, and the copy that enters trigger the other copies that already exist except for itself, and then keep stacking and stacking and stacking. So you can get lots of counters, lots of fight mechanics, or any other bear can trigger your commander even more and more. Very strong, very dumb. I hope you're good at math. So Birthing Bowers is a new artifact for Modern Horizons. It is a bit of a mana sink, but later on, late game, it's a good way to get out more bear tokens where we can. So 3 mana cast, but you can pay 4 tap to create a 2/2 shapeshifter token that is a changeling, so it's still a bear. So for 4 mana, we can create a 2/2 bear that does get a fight mechanic or can become a 4/4 essentially. Late game, great. So Cloudstone Curio is here because whenever a permanent enters our battlefield that's non-artifact, we can bounce back a permanent that shifts a type to our hand, another one that is. So 1 bear enters the battlefield, another one goes back to your hand and you recast it. Just a way to trigger our commander more times. Hardened Scales, if we choose to go the counter route, giving it 3 counters instead of 2, just a little bit better. Muruganda Petroglyphs, one of my favourite commander cards. It just catches people out. I love when people have to lean across the table and read it and go, what's this? So it gives vanilla creatures +2/+2. Most of the bears and all the bear tokens, which we'll lead into in a second, are 2/2s with nothing. Now they're all 4/4s at least. Pretty funny card. I love the artwork too. So those 2/2 bear tokens, they can be made a few ways. So the new Ayula's Influence can let us discard lands to create 2/2 bears. At instant speed, by the way, and no limit in a turn. Great during your opponent's turn and late game for us. Bearscape. Talk about a card that spiked up pretty hard. It lets us remove cards from our graveyard to start making 2/2 bear tokens. During your opponent's turn, this is great. We can catch them out, more fight mechanics and buffing, plus the artwork. Try and count how many bears are in there. I can see a few. Words of Wildling. These cards are pretty cool, they're cycle anyway. You can pay 1 mana, instead of drawing a card you do something else. When you do get a little bit of draw online, it's good to trade in for more bear tokens, but 1 mana, instead of draw, you get a 2/2 bear token. Again, you'll take what you can get. Grisly Fate is just a instant token generator. For 5 mana, you can get 2/2 bear tokens, or if you meet the threshold, you can get 4, and it has flashback for 7. Pretty decent. Also, we've got Kamal Summoning, which can be a little risky depending on who you're versing, but each player reveals any number of creature cards from their hand, then each player puts a 2/2 bear token for each creature revealed this way. Now, even against a big creature deck, hopefully we'll get more value out of it because of our commander. We'll either get a lot of fight mechanics or a lot of buffing. Leading on still, bit of draw, bit of tutoring where we can get it. Green Sun Venus, seems pretty fitting, resets back into your library after being used, and it just means you can cast any bear from your deck for 1 extra mana really. Skull Clamp can be pretty funny where you equip it onto a bear, give it a bit of a power buff, make it go and fight something, kill whatever it fights. The bear probably dies but can draw 2 cards, not the worst thing in the world. Vanquish's Banner, name bears, buff all the bears and you draw cards whenever you cast a bear. Especially with Teamer's Sabertooth, when you're resetting your bears you can draw more cards. Lifecrafter, we'll take Scry. Scry in mono green can be pretty handy, just lets us filter what we don't need, plus we can pay that 1 extra green to draw cards when we cast a creature spell. Again, it's hard to draw on green, we take what we get. Harmonize for just simple draw. Nature's Wrath is just here to hate on the blue and the black players in my playgroup. You could totally trade this out, but for a $2 rare from the reserve list that can hurt them, it's pretty great. Of course, we've got the 2 booties here, protect our commander. She is cheap, 2 mana for a 2/2, but she is a pretty big target. People will go for her pretty early on because the deck is reliant on her, so if we can protect her, even better. Removal, well, our commander does the creature removal, so we go pretty hard on the enchantment artifact removal, and they're abundant in commander, so just start firing them off when you need to. Beast from Within can hit anything. I love the new Return to Nature, pretty good. Crows and Grip, that split second comes in handy, and good old default Naturalize, you can never go wrong. Now onto mana. Mana rocks like Mindstone, Hedron, and Commander Sphere all give us our advantage early on, but mid to late game, we can sacrifice them to draw cards, very handy in mono green. Good old Sol Ring, Commander Staple. Emerald Medallion and Ronus' Monument offer us cost reductions, plus the Monument offers us a bit of a buff as well. Cage Shun, double our color, and our buffs our bears, can't really go wrong there. And of course we run Cultivating Kadama's Reach, just get our lands out of our deck a little bit quicker. Now lands, you could just run Old Forest and you'd be perfectly fine, but I've got a few different ones here. I've got my Cycling Lands, because mid and late game I might want to ditch them to draw more cards. I've got Blighted Woodlands and Myriad Landscape to draw multiple lands out of our deck and speed us up. Arcane Lighthouse is probably a must, because it removes Hexproof and Shroud from your opponent's creatures. We can't fight them if they can't be targeted, so having that is very important in this deck. On Reef, the Vassal just offers a buff for our creatures entering the battlefield, and the Shrine of Nyx just rewards us for being mono green. And as for basics, just got 28 forests. So, what do you think about Ayula? I'm sorry this video took a little bit longer to come out. I've had an exciting life for last week, so I've been a little bit busy, but I'll get back to my videos. Ayula is pretty boss. Very cool commander. Very simple. Very budget actually. Most of the bears are pretty cheap. You couldn't build this deck under $200. Cheaper. A lot cheaper if you want to. Just some of the cards are like spiky. I like it. It's consistent. It's got a game plan. It follows the game plan. You know what it's doing. And it's cool. Finally tribal bear support. I'm glad Wizards did it. I think though probably the biggest concern with this deck is a lot of the Ayula decks are very similar. Because there's only so many bears in Commander and Magic in general, and there's only so many cards that support the game plan of the Commander, so I think most of the Ayula decks will be very similar. I'm sure as more sets come out, small upgrades here and there, percentage points, we can find them. Any new bear that's instantly a better bear, instantly it goes straight in, sorry. But yeah, Ayula, I like her, very simple, and we'll start doing the new Modern Horizon Commanders next. So let me know your thoughts down below, and have a good one guys. See ya. As always, thank you to our patrons. These guys are the building blocks for Mana Down Under. They make the channel what it is. If you'd like to become a patron and see the benefits, the link is down below. And thank you again guys for your support. Thanks for watching guys. Please remember to like and sub and click the bell icon for notifications. It's greatly appreciated. And if you have any deck or video ideas, just suggest them down below. And have a good one guys.